Let us go ahead and do synthetic and long division on number 7 here. So starting with synthetic division. To start the synthetic division process, we're going to go ahead and make a little box here. And inside that box, we're going to place the constant that's on our binomial there. In this case, it's a positive 2. We're going to place it inside there, but we're going to change the sign. So the positive 2 changes to a negative 2. Okay. And then we're going to place the coefficients and the constant from our trinomial there alongside the right side of this box. Okay. So the first leading term of our trinomial is 1. Or sorry, the leading coefficient is 1. So let's go ahead and place that 1 right there. The next coefficient is 5, so we're going to place 5 right next to that. And the last number that we need, the constant on the end, is 8, so we'll place the 8 right there. Next, we'll draw a line in the box. The line is just to keep things organized. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring down the 1 that we have first. That's our first step, so we bring down the 1. And then we take that 1 that we brought down times the negative 2 that's in the box. 1 times negative 2 is, of course, negative 2. And we place that negative 2 underneath the next number that we have. So we're going to place that negative 2 underneath the 5 that we have there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add these things together. So the operation that we're going to stick with here is adding. So we take 5 plus a negative 2. And when we take 5 plus a negative 2, we get, of course, 3. Okay? The next thing we do is we just repeat the whole thing that we just did before. So we're going to take that 3 that's underneath that we just got, multiply it by the negative 2 in the box. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. And we put it underneath the next number. Okay? So negative 6 that we got goes underneath the next number. We add 8 plus negative 6, and we get positive 2. Okay? So positive 1 is going to be our leading coefficient there. But we shouldn't, well, you're going to have a variable there, so we won't leave 1 alone there. We're going to go ahead and get our variable by taking the degree of our trinomial here and subtracting it from, or taking the degree of our trinomial, and from that we'll subtract the degree of our binomial here, which is 1. Okay, so 2 minus 1, that makes 1, so we have n to the first power there. So we have n to the first power, but we really don't need to, of course, write the first power. We don't need the leading coefficient 1 there, so we'll just write n. Now, the next number we have, as we go down the line, is 3. So let's go ahead and write 3 there. So plus 3. And then we have our remainder of 2. Okay. So how we write our remainder is as follows. We just put plus 2 over our binomial that was our divisor, so n plus 2. And we have our answer there. Okay. So now that we have our answer doing synthetic division, let's go ahead and do long division. So I'll use my long division symbol here. Alright. And I place my trinomial within that, so we have it inside there, n squared plus 5n plus 8. Alright. And then to the left side, we're going to put our binomial divisor. So we're going to put n plus 2 on the left. And then to start this process out, what we're going to do is we're going to divide our leading term in our trinomial by our leading term in our binomial. So we take the n squared and divide it by the n there. And the result, of course, is n. So we place that n up here, and then what we do is we multiply that n by this entire binomial here, and then we replace that result underneath these two terms here. Okay? So we multiply the n by the binomial, we replace the result underneath these two terms here. So n times n is n squared, n times 2 is plus 2n. Alright? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract these two terms here. from the top there. But once again, it's easier to just change the sign, distribute the negative, change the signs, and add. Some people find that usually easier. So we distribute the negative there, so we have negative n squared, and then minus 2n, and then we can just add them. Alright? Same as subtracting them, like we had before. So n squared minus n squared is 0, 5n minus a negative 2n, or sorry, n squared plus negative n squared is 0, 5n plus a negative 2n is 3n. So we'll go ahead and put 3n underneath. And then we bring down the next term, so we have plus 8 here. Alright, and now the process repeats. So we take that leading term, 3n, and divide it by the n here. So we have 3n divided by n. That gives us 3. Okay. So place that 3 in the constants column. And now we're going to multiply that 3 that we got times the binomial here and place that underneath these two numbers here. Okay. So multiplying it by the binomial that we have there, 3 times n is 3n. 3 times 2, we have 6. And then we subtract these two from each other. So we would go ahead and we would subtract these things. But recall, if I subtract these two things, I could just distribute the negative and add. So let's go ahead and do that there. Okay, so distributing that negative we had out in front, we have minus 3n minus 6. Okay, and then I'll add instead. So 3n plus a negative 3n is 0. 8 plus negative 6 is 2. So I have a remainder of 2, and I can write my final answer now. Final answer is that n plus 3 that I have at the top there, plus 2 over n plus 3. Now, it's important for you to understand, oh, wait a minute, our binomial that was our divisor is n plus 2. I'm sorry about that. Let's change that to n plus 2 there. There we go. Now everything's correct. And it matches what we got before. Okay, so one important thing for you to understand here is how we get, well, what it means to actually have this as our answer. So we divided this trinomial, n squared plus 5n plus 8, we divided it by n plus 2. Okay? And we got this answer as our result. If we were to take our result, our answer here, and multiply it by n plus 2, what would we get back? We'd get n squared plus 5n plus 8. Okay? You don't believe me, try it. But that's what you'd get back. Okay? And let's maybe a little intuitive reasoning behind that here. So the reasoning is, say that we were taking, let's give another example, say that we were taking 12 and we were dividing 12 by 3. What's 12 divided by 3? Well, it's 4, of course. Okay, so we get 4 as our answer up at the top there. Well, if you take 4 times 3, you get 12 back again. So if we take what we got on the top here and our remainder, of course, added on there, and we multiply it by the number out front there, we're going to get this trinomial that's underneath here back. Okay? Anyway, I hope you use these videos to your advantage. And once again, if anything doesn't make sense, you can always email me. I'll clarify it in another video.